All right, we alive.
Yo,
Peace, everybody. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I'm here with my brother, Max611.
yes, sir.
We
Yes,
haven't
sir.
done a stream together in a while, so this is kind of special.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me give them the description of what this show is all about. The title of this live stream is Jim Clyburn. Clyburn saves the Democrats. For all of you people who want to get off the Democratic plantation, how do you feel about this? Bernie Sanders was in a position going into Super Tuesday to break the DNC and the Democrats' back like Bane did Batman. But your boy came in and saved the day, and by proxy, saved the Democratic corporate establishment. So tell me, how do you, we got to get off the Democratic plantation people feel about this? And not just y'all, also, how do the politically inept Negroes who think voting for Donald Trump is somehow striking a blow against the Democrats and the Democratic plantation and the
Mm,
establishment when the Democratic Party, the DNC, has stated on multiple occasions it would rather see Trump in office for another 4 years than to endorse Bernie Sanders? Holla back. I want to get your thoughts on this because I got a lot to say, but I want to hear what you got to say about this.
right. You can still hear me, right?
I can hear you. You sound
Okay.
kind of like airy, like whatever, but we can hear you clearly.
Let me see if adjust my phone.
You speaking through your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you good. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Um, Voting for Donald Trump again. Mm, that's not good. Not good.
That's what I
Even
heard. Like I said, there's people online saying they're gonna vote for Trump.
yeah, I saw your page. That's not good, and voting for Biden isn't good either. So, like the last election.
Hello? Uh-oh. Then you go out. Uh-oh. Mac, you there? I guess he having some technical issues. All right. In the meantime, my issue is this. This is what my thing is. I have no problem because I don't care about the Democrats or the Republicans as a party. I'm not team Democrat and I'm not team Republican. But what I do believe in is political leverage. And what my question is, what did black people get out of saving the Democratic Party and saving Joe Biden on Super Tuesday? What did we get out of it? Because you have some political capital. Like in the South, is heavily dominant by black people, and especially older black folks or whatever. So I don't have an issue. If you want to vote for Biden, okay, you vote for Biden. What are you getting out of your political capital? What are you getting out of your loyalty to what you perceive as Barack Obama by proxy by backing Joe Biden? What are you getting out of it? That's what I want to know. That's what my whole issue is. Because this is the fact. If you look at it objectively, this is what would have happened. And before I even say that, to be honest with you, from a political standpoint, just for pure politics and just leave emotions out of it, what the Democratic Party did was kind of a brilliant move. It was like a last minute Hail Mary pass that actually worked. What was happening is Sanders won the first three states and was totally poised to go into Super Tuesday with a dominant, like take over most of them states, at least at a worst case scenario, he was looking at getting 8 states. Because the Democrats all united, like the corporate Democrats, the neoliberals, all united at the last minute before Super Tuesday happened, the casual voter in their mind said, "Oh shit, it looks like Biden is the dude. Let me vote for Biden." Even though on the exit polls, those people agreed with Bernie Sanders on policy issues. Like they all support Medicare for all, they all support a living wage, they all support free college tuition and all the stuff that he talks about. But when they went into the voting booth, they voted for Biden. Oh, wait a minute, we got our brother here. Woo.
Yo.
What's up, family?
Everything's good, bro. How you?
I'm good. Can you talk? Or you want me to mute you? What?
I can talk. I'm good. I'm just chilling.
Oh, you can talk? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So you caught most of what I said?
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, from a political move, it was brilliant what they did. They all coalesced together and they got the momentum on Joe Biden's side for him to carry that into Super Tuesday and to stay alive, because him and the corporate Democrats was basically dead in the water before they did that. And it actually worked. So
Right.
I kind of respect that on a political level, the way that they were able to do that. What should have happened, if there were any real progressives in the race, because there really aren't that many. Perfect example is Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
When they did that at the last minute, what she should have did was dropped out and back Sanders.
Right.
All of those other people like Tulsi Gabbard and the rest of them should have backed out of Super Tuesday and backed Bernie Sanders, because that would have been a counter to what the move that they did, but they didn't do that.
Right. Right.
So that's the reason why that happened, and it kept Joe Biden alive. Now, I don't even want to I'm going to touch on the Joe Biden thing later on, in terms of him and his electability and all of that shit. But what I want to focus on right now is Black folks having enough political capital to save the Democratic Party and to save Joe Biden. And what did they get out of the deal? Think about that. They saved them.
Yep.
They saved them. If it had not been for blacks in South Carolina, Bernie Sanders would have swept the Super Tuesday, and the Democratic Party would have been helpless to do anything against him. And if they tried to, it would be an all-out war.
Right.
But blacks came and saved Joe Biden, thereby by proxy saving the Democratic Party. And what did black folks get out of their loyalty to Joe Biden?
Not a damn thing.
A man who's a good friend of Strom Thurmond. A man who's buddied up to segregationists in the South. Those are his good friends.
That's a Clyburn. Clyburn is a good friend of Strom Thurmond's?
No,
Or
Biden
was?
is.
Oh,
I don't know if
Biden's.
Clyburn is, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. But people don't. I think people who are listening to this don't know who Strom Thurmond is, though.
Let's just put it
Like,
this way.
Don't really know.
One of the racist crackers in the South, who was strongly against integration.
Exactly, one of the most racist crackers in the South. So much so that somebody had to step down when he died a couple of years for saying that if the party was like it was when he was here, everything would be much better. That's how much of a bastard that dude was.
Right.
I forget who it was that had to step down, but I remember that the dude literally had to step down from his congressional seat because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And blacks in the if I'm
go ahead.
Sorry, if I may add, like I was talking to somebody the other day, like an older person, and we were talking about this whole thing. And I said to the person, I was talking about because I think a lot of times people don't understand your methodology, bro. Like people think that you really just want Bernie Sanders to be the president or whatever, and you're totally into this political thing. And like y'all are crazy. Like
yeah, come on. I'm a nationalist, idiots.
Exactly. It's like all of a sudden, Holla is down with the political process, and he wants us all to register to vote. And I'm like, you niggas are out of your mind. Are you crazy?
You know what it is? But that doesn't surprise me, because people don't listen. They go off of buzzwords.
Truth be told. But basically, in that I was talking about, because there's a Breakfast Club interview with AOC on it, and like she's talking about her methodology. It's very powerful, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. And so in that, I was talking to this older person. I was saying to them about how nobody from our community, like the nationalist community, really gives a damn about the politics in general. But the thing is, we have to live here until we get what we're trying to get, which is our own nation. And so, if you make policies, if you make policies economically feasible for us, it makes our nation building process run a lot smoother. In contrast to making economic hardship policies, so that life is hard for us or harder for us in trying to do what we're trying to do. And so, long story short, the person said to me, "I don't like Bernie Sanders." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, because he's not as strong as we need our president to be." I said, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Well, so basically what I'm saying to you, brother, in a nutshell is people are really judging you by your personality. They're not judging you by your policies and your nuance and your intelligence, your ability to, basically stand up in the midst of national crisis and threat. They're basically judging you by, like I've heard this said about Obama a long time ago. They say, well, we like Obama because his personality, quote unquote, fills the room. What the hell is that?
And how does that help you out economically for 4 years? Like you have people that's mired in student debt, and you're gonna vote for Joe Biden.
Exactly.
You got people who can't get a living wage or minimum wage, and you're gonna vote for Donald Trump. See, people vote against my whole thing, and people don't understand the reason why I point this stuff out. I am not no Democrat, and I ain't no fucking Republican. I'm not even independent. I'm a black nationalist, an African Senate progressive. Nobody can figure that out by my channel. What I'm doing is I'm pointing to the hypocrisy of people, and these are people that are not nationalists. These are the militant integrationists and the Black Power Americans who claim that who are definitely not on the side of me. They're not on the side of nationalists. They're not on the side of black of African Senate progressives. They're not on the side of the BAIO. But yet they claim black power and they claim to be anti-establishment. Well, tell me, Mr. Black Power, tell me, Mr. Militant Integrationist, of all the candidates that's in the race right now, who's the anti-establishment candidate? Just objectively. You don't have to like them. You ain't gotta love them. You ain't gotta have them take you. They don't have to bear your seed. Be honest. Who's the person that would literally turn this place upside down if they were to get the nomination?
Would have to be.
Be honest. Be honest. So if you're backing Joe Biden, how anti-establishment are you really? Sounds to me like you down with Jim Clyburn.
Well, to me, you got two camps of the masses of the people. You got the people who have been on Facebook for a while, have seen all of these memes and said, you know what? I'm gonna vote Republican because the Democrats took us for granted. You got that section of ignorant people. Then you got, you know what I mean? That's a good reason to vote Republican, right? Then you got the people on the other side who are the people who are anybody but Trump people. And that seems to be really who everybody's trying to swing. It's either, when it comes to black people, I should say, it's anybody but Trump people or the people who are voting Republican simply because the quote-unquote Democrats are good. And never mind, haven't really looked at anybody's track record or seen what policies affected you, what policies didn't affect you. And I can say this. I remember when I was doing my Blog Talk show back in the day when Obama was president, in the first 4 years, where all of the black power people were just going against him because he threatened what they were trying to do, which is basically they felt like he threatened what they were trying to do because he was a black man as a president, and that would erode their argument that there's nothing here for us. So that's the only reason why they was doing it. So I would go and I would lay out some of the policies that he had that did in fact affect, because there was, you had the unemployment extension, you had some student loan stuff he was doing. He also, in some cases, extended education to certain people who didn't. And so when I was doing that, those were shows I got those views from. because people wasn't trying to hear that. And I think that that's a, that right there is a show, or well, I don't know how to say it, but it shows you in that microcosmic dealing I had, it shows you how little people really pay attention to the stuff that really matters.
Right. Like president seems to be no more different than class president.
Right. Yep.
Like you vote for somebody because she got a fat ass, or you vote for somebody because she got pretty eyes. It's like it has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with substance or how they're gonna. I spoke to a girl at my job just in passing. It wasn't even no deep conversation, and she said that she was gonna vote for Biden. And so I asked her. I said, "Do you have any student debt?" She said, "Yeah, that shit is killing me." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." If you have one candidate who's saying that they want to eliminate that shit on day one, why would you vote for the candidate that's not going to do that? And do you know instantly she said he wants to eliminate student debt? Well, shit, he got my vote. I was like, whoa, I turned into a Bernie Sanders surrogate without even knowing it. I said, that's all it took? So in other words, you are voting against your own interests. You don't look at policy. You don't look and see what's going to help me in the future. Like for me, I know just based on personal like impact on my life, I don't want Donald Trump to be president because I used to get a nice tax return. That shit is over.
Yep.
That shit is over. My tax return last year was abysmal, and this one is even going. I think my accountant is actually scared to tell me how much I owe.
Yeah, listen, me and my accountant is scared.
So why the hell would I want that nigga in office for another 4 years? I didn't get no benefit out of Trump being in office. So that's what you're talking about, something that affects you personally. If you a person is struggling and you can't get a good job and you can't get a living wage, you're gonna vote for Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
Man, bro.
I mean, if you into this voting thing, if that's your thing, because personally I have my take on that, but I'm gonna leave that for another show. But if voting is your thing, why are you gonna vote against your own interests? Shouldn't you vote for the person whose policies affect your everyday life? How many of y'all have family members that's sick and in the hospital? How many of y'all, what are you doing? You putting up your house? If they really sick, you probably putting up your house or their house. Wouldn't a Medicare for all or single payer healthcare system help you and your family?
Yep.
This is the thing that really just boggles my mind. Even because I'm into politics, like I just like the political process in America because to me it's like entertainment. It's like Game of Thrones and Homeland and whatever show you want to pick. I just love the drama, so I watch it just to see how people are disingenuous, how people have no principles. It just validates everything, all the underpinnings of the BAIO and why we want to get the hell up out of here.
Yep.
It just validates it for me. So I look at this stuff and I see the hypocrisy. I see Whoopi Goldberg on TV saying that Bernie Sanders is a piece of crap because he's saying something nice about Fidel Castro, and Fidel Castro is a dictator, and there's nothing you can say da 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 da. But just a hot minute ago, she was down with Obama when Obama said the exact same thing that Bernie Sanders said, and Obama did even more. He opened up communications to Cuba so that Americans can travel back and forth to Cuba. And what did Whoopi Goldberg say then? Oh, this is a great thing. Oh, wait, let me get him back in. Y'all in?
Sorry, I got knocked off for a second. Yeah.
Oh, look who's calling me. Guess who this is who's calling me, Mark?
Oh, Queen, right?
No, Larry.
It's either one of them.
On point every single time. It's scary, man. That is so fucking scary. I can be in the house all day long. I don't get a call from my cousin. The moment I get on a live stream, that phone starts ringing. What was I saying?
Same when I do in the paint.
What was I
people
saying? I
don't
was saying
vote.
something.
You were talking about how you know how you did the process, the election, the reason why you're into an election process,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
political
yeah.
process, as
It's
you said.
drama. It's like to see. Oh, it's Whoopi Goldberg. That's what I was saying. That
Yep.
she came out and backed Barack Obama and said, "Hey, you know, this, I know it's not about Castro. It's not about this. It's not about that." It's like, so she contradicted herself. You can go back to the tape. I put it on my profile where she's saying one thing when it came to Obama, another thing when it came to Bernie Sanders, and I never realized how big of a hack the people on the left are until Donald Trump became president. Like, he revealed so much.
Hmm.
Because there were people that I used to listen to, and I used to think that actually had a serious point of view, that I'm ashamed I even wasted my time listening to them, because they're complete, utter, disingenuous hacks.
Hmm.
That vote blue no matter who bullshit.
Basically,
Fuck Democrats. Fuck Democrats. Can
exactly.
anybody say that? Fuck the Democratic Party.
I've been
Bernie
saying that for the
Sanders
longest.
ain't even a Democrat. And people use that against him like that's a slight. That's actually a good thing. He doesn't want his name associated with the party. That's a good thing.
So let me ask you this, bro.
Hmm.
Now, because remember when this political process was very, very young, there was a lot of people saying things like, "Well, we're not going to vote for any candidate that isn't down for reparations." Well, guess what? Ain't nobody down with reparations. So now what?
Yeah, let me touch on that. Can I speak for you on this, Minister, and
Without a
Mac?
doubt.
I'm gonna speak for y'all on this,
Without
and
a
you
doubt.
tell me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Y'all stop me. As
Go ahead.
Black nationalists and as African centered progressive, we are personally offended that you guys want to use, you militant integrationists and you Black Power Americans want to use reparations as a gotcha guilt move for white people,
Yep.
because we take that shit seriously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Black people
Huh.
are owed reparations. Black people deserve to have their nation repaired. So we've never been against reparations. But what we're against is using reparations as some political tool to try to guilt white people and for you to get set asides, which is what you're using it for.
Yep.
And also, and it's the reason why I say it's a gotcha thing. If you go to a white candidate and ask them what's their stance on reparations, you kind of putting them on the spot, because if they back reparations, they are basically out of the candidacy.
Right.
Perfect example, Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson's
Mm-hmm.
backed reparations, and where is Marianne Williamson now?
Gone for a long time.
People
Long
didn't even
time.
know that she was in the race anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She just fell off the plane. Why? Nobody is going to. That's a political suicide for a white person to
Yep.
say, I openly back reparations in a fucking primary. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
So don't get
Mm-hmm.
mad at all these other candidates like Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders and the rest of these people because they won't openly back. You're putting them in a position for them to commit political suicide.
Right.
And for what? What are they going to get out of it if they say, yeah, I back reparations? What are they going to get? You guys don't
Hmm.
vote. You guys
Hmm.
don't get up your ass and go to the polls and put them in the office. You're not their constituency. So
Right.
what are you doing? And then
Yep.
the hypocrisy of people who say, well, I don't want to vote for Bernie Sanders because he doesn't openly support reparations. Does Joe Biden openly support reparations?
Because Donald Trump.
Does Donald Trump openly support reparations? So don't give me that crap. That ain't got nothing to do with it. And you can't say, well, Bernie Sanders is white. Motherfucker, they all white.
Every last one of them. Even the
All
black
of them
ones.
are white.
Even the black ones
Even the black
are
ones are
white.
white. So don't act like you got some now all of a sudden your principle is that you don't vote for white people and you living here in America.
Hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh yeah,
Yep.
somebody said it in the chat room. Williamson endorsed Sanders.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
That's not surprising though.
But
That's not
what? So why
surprising.
don't these Negroes that rally behind Williamson vote for Sanders?
I tell you though, I listen. Now, the majority of the people that are listening to this show don't really know Marianne Williamson until she became a president. But if you're in the spiritual world, you have like 2 to 3 of her books. And I always, you know what I'm saying, the most, I think the most popular one is the one called Return to Love, but then she has another one called The Law of Divine Compensation. But either way, I never understood her running for president. I never understood it. I never understood it. That definitely, as much as I like the works that she's written, I never understood her running for president because she had no chance whatsoever.
Yeah, most of them don't have. It's ego for a lot of people. For some people, it's ego. For other people, it's policy. Like they want to see light shed on a certain topic or policy. Like for Andrew Yang,
Right,
Andrew Yang was all about universal basic income.
right.
Like he didn't really have good foreign policy. He wasn't really good on other domestic policies, but that was his policy, and he wanted to push it.
And that was scaring the hell out of people.
Yeah, because he's like his policy. He may not be anti-establishment himself, but that policy is anti-establishment.
Right.
Because I'm not going to make it seem like Yang Yang is some type of revolutionary, because he's not. He's just as capitalist as the rest of these guys.
Exactly.
But he had a policy position that was anti-establishment, and that's the UBI.
Hmm. So I don't know where. Well, anyway, I'll let you rock. But as usual, we try to steer this towards our process.
Hmm.
But I don't know if you're ready to do that yet.
I'm ready. I'm always ready for that. Because like I said, what I do is I look at the political thing because I want to show the hypocrisy of Black Power Americans and militant integrationists. That's the reason why I focus on this shit. Because if you are a militant integrationist, if you ain't down with the cracker and fuck whitey and all this other stuff, and let's get off the Democratic plantation. If you want to have a vote that will definitely piss off the Democratic establishment, vote for Bernie Sanders. That's all I'm saying. You voting for Joe Biden is you actually supporting the very thing that you claim that you're against. That's my point.
Nope. We gotta vote for Uncle Joe.
That's my point. And I don't care whether you vote for either one of them, because the bottom line is my solution to the problem is land, infrastructure, and nationhood. But you don't want to hear that, though. You don't want to hear that.
Nope. So we got to talk about what you want to hear.
These contradictory Negroes, man.
Exactly. That y'all got a whole bunch of reasons why that's not going to work, right?
Right.
But so we got to talk about what you think is going to work, and you still got problems with that too.
Right. You ain't even operating in your own interest on that level.
Right.
I've actually had people tell me I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Really, nigga? So what are you? Are you a millionaire? That's why you doing it?
Yeah. Yo, you remember the first year when, and I got to say this because he's our brother and we love him. I ain't gonna mention his name, but the prominent BAL member was like, "Oh man, Donald Trump policies is great. I got mad money back on my taxes." What happened to that in year 2? What happened to that in year number 2? I wish we had somebody from the financial world that was smart enough to tell us how we getting fucked with the taxes, because it's like I kind of understand it, but I don't. I just know
he took away a lot of the things that you would have had that would have helped you get a return. He just took them away.
The exemptions, right?
Yeah. But it only affected the people who are the working class people. It doesn't affect the top tier.
Right.
And to try to pretend like, see, Donald Trump, what Donald Trump does is, and let's not get it twisted, Donald Trump being president for another 4 years is a win-win no matter what the Democrats do. If the Democrats run Joe Biden, right? This is the two scenarios. Joe Biden runs against Donald Trump, and Joe Biden narrowly wins the election. What happens? Nothing.
Right.
Because that's what Joe Biden has been he's been running on nothing. Nobody,
Right.
if I was to put a gun to your head, you couldn't tell me what Joe Biden's policy positions are.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, even if you pro Joe Biden, I want you to type it out in the chat room. Tell me what Joe Biden's policy positions are. Now you know what Bernie Sanders' policy positions are because he says them like he just repeats them over and over again to it's like ingrained in your head. You know what his policy positions are. That's all he runs on his policy. But Joe Biden Joe Biden fundamentally will not change anything if he gets in office. The same policy position that Donald Trump wants is the same policy position Joe Biden wants and the Democratic Party wants. Democratic Party does not want Medicare for all.
Nope.
Am I lying?
Nope. You're not
Democratic
lying.
Party does not want they do not want students to be relieved of college debt like the motherfuckers relieved Wall Street from all of those bad debts. Just wipe them off the table and let them start from scratch.
That needs to be said again because there's people out there who will say, well, where's the money going to come from? The same place the freaking bailouts came from.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Where did the $1 trillion go on, or the $2 trillion Iraq war? Where did the funds for that come from?
Mm-hmm.
See, the only time everybody has an issue with a price tag is when it comes time to helping the citizens and the people, the working class people. Nobody has an issue with the price tag when it comes to war.
Right.
What the fuck? How much money is going into the war in Syria? What is the average working person in America? How are they tied? It's like, what do they benefit one way or another from their country being in war in Syria? But yet, when you want to talk about bailing out the people, now everybody got a problem. They're acting like there's a fucking meteor coming to tear the earth in half.
Yep.
And what really bothers me is that the people that claim to be anti-establishment are so goddamn pro-establishment.
Right.
So my question is to the Black Power American and the militant integrationists. Who are you voting for? I mean, that's a serious question. Who are you voting for? Because you don't believe in nationhood. You're not telling people, hey, y'all got to go and sign up at the BAIO. That's not what you're saying. So, who are you voting for?
You know who they voting for.
I don't really. I really don't know because they say they don't like Bernie Sanders because he don't support reparations. I haven't really heard. Minister, have you heard him say anything about Joe Biden?
Nope.
They kind of silent on Joe Biden.
They're gonna vote for Joe Biden.
Oh, they're gonna vote for Joe. So my question after that is
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
By his name. Call him by
they're gonna vote for Uncle Joe. So after you vote for Uncle Joe, what's gonna happen? Like, what are you gonna get out of the deal?
Nothing.
Yo, I'll be back, y'all. I gotta talk to my son.
Okay. You want me to put you on mute? Okay, he left out.
The same old Holla.
Yeah, 12. I'm sorry, 12209 Ronald. He says none of the above. I'm with you. Mm-hmm. But you're not real like those type of people that say none of the above. You're basically either in our camp where we're Black nationalists and African-centered progressives who believe we should have a nation of our own, or you're just out of the political process altogether and you're not fucking with anything. Those people I don't really have a problem with, and I kind of respect their stance.
Right.
Because it's a logical stance. What I'm talking about is the people that want to engage in political process with this system, but yet they vote for establishment candidates. I don't understand that. If you're supposed to be a militant integrationist and you so anti-America and you so anti-establishment, why are you voting for establishment candidates?
Why are they?
And are you going to sit there and tell me that Joe Biden is not an establishment candidate? Then who is? Is Joe Biden a radical revolutionary?
Nope.
Is Joe Biden trying to change policy in America to benefit the working class people?
Nope.
Say what you want to say about Bernie Sanders, and you can like him or not like him. But one thing you can't say is that he's bought and sold.
Right.
Because if you say that he's bought and sold, or that somebody's pulling his purse strings, tell me who it is that's pulling his purse strings. Like I said, there are people that I don't even agree with, but I do understand and I acknowledge that they're principled in whatever their stances are. Ron Paul on the Republican side is the Bernie Sanders equivalent on the Democratic side, and the Republican establishment hates his fucking guts. Because he's a conservative Republican, he's not for war, which automatically means that you ain't gonna be controlling the Republican Party if you ain't down for war.
Right.
Even
War,
Donald Trump.
Right. War is about making money. That's
Yeah,
why
even Donald Trump, who claimed to be against war when he started, what happened?
War makes the money chain go around. And I think people don't realize that. That's why there will always be some form of conflict, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican.
Right, because the Democrat or Republican is the same damn party, which is what I've been saying over and over again. The same damn party. The only way that's going to change is if you put in like a Bernie Sanders whose policies run totally opposite of what the Democratic Party wants you to run on.
Right.
Either way, that has nothing to do with us. To be honest with you.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with us. We already know what our position is.
Right. That's why I've said very little about.
Yeah, we already know what our position is. But what I'm saying is, all these people who claim to be against, or don't claim that they are against the BAIO and are against nationhood and land and infrastructure and all that shit, these people want to inject themselves into the political process and claim to be anti-establishment at the same time. And I'm calling bullshit. I'm saying you don't even know what an anti-establishment candidate is because none of y'all is paying attention to policy.
Right.
And let's get back to Jim Clyburn. I want to hear what you got to say about him.
Hey, he's a pawn, and he's doing what pawns do. You backing the person who enables you and pays you and keeps you, in the lifestyle you live in. So he'll get a crumb from the Democrats till they don't need him no more, and then he'll be cast away.
Basically. And what are black people in the South going to get out of Joe Biden being president of the United States? Could somebody answer that for me?
The South's going to remain the South. And what goes on in the South? Same old, same old. It'd be very little.
Darius, if you want to get on, send me an email to holipsism@gmail.com. Anybody else who wants to get on too, send me an email to holipsism@gmail.com, and then I'll send you the link so you can get into this conversation.
Yeah. The Jim Clyburns kill me because you just a pawn.
Peace to CD.
And there's no benefit in being a pawn.
And CD, don't worry, you're safe here. You don't have no closet homosexuals in the chat. You don't have Jamal the funky homosexual to worry about, because he's blocked off of this channel with his bitch ass. Bitch ass nigga. Lying ass nigga. You've been exposed as a fucking liar on my live stream. So your best thing to do is shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah,
Bitch ass nigga.
yeah, yeah. Herb juice
Once
and
you've been
lemon,
exposed as a liar, does
burn
it
them
really
a lot
matter what you
quicker.
got to say? Does it really matter what your opinion is on any fucking thing? You homo ass nigga.
Yeah, that would be him. Be him.
And y'all can
When you
copy and paste, so y'all can clip that shit.
definitely,
Bitch ass
definitely.
nigga.
When you do stuff like that, lets me know all about you, bitch ass dude.
But yeah, man, like to get back to the subject, um, black people had a lot of political capital in that situation. They could have bargained. You know what they could have done? They could have bargained with either Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden for something. Like Clyburn could have went to Sanders and he could have went. I would have had more respect for him had he done that. Had he went to Sanders and Biden and said, "Listen, I'm going to endorse you, but this is what I want out of this endorsement." You know what I'm saying? What happened? Did he get cut? Oh shit! Hold on. You got cut, Matt?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I would have had respect for the dude had he did that.
Right.
He could have went to Sanders and say, "Listen, I'll give you my endorsement, but this is what we want out of the deal for people of the South." Or he could have went to Biden. But from what I can tell, he didn't get shit out of it, other than his loyalty to Biden because he
Right.
was the VP of the first black president. What the fuck that got to do with what's going on now? That is such a fucking stupid politically thing to do, man.
A lot of us see it that way.
It's a
And
jackass. He was the president. He was the first president under Obama. So what? And what is that going to do for the next 4 years for your black ass, you dumb motherfucker?
right. And also look at his political track record prior to him becoming vice president.
Who, Biden?
Yeah, yeah.
Biden, I think South Carolina was the first state that he actually won as running for president. The very first one that he ever won. Like I said, they saved his ass. They saved his ass. And for saving his ass, what are the people of the South gonna get? Because if you really wanted to throw a monkey wrench into things, Jim Clyburn would have came out for Bernie Sanders. Do you imagine? I tell you, every political head on television head would have been exploding had that happened. See, these people ain't anti-establishment. These people is full of shit. Anti-establishment. You really want to be anti-establishment? Be down with the BAIO. How about that? Be down for land, infrastructure, nationhood if you want to claim to be anti-establishment. Don't be all up in the political process. And in the meantime, you just back in the status quo. The same people that got you in the fucking position that you in right now, you still backing them?
Yep.
And if you don't back the Democrats, which I have absolutely no problem with, you're going to go and back Donald fucking Trump? Like either one of them are for you? And then the stupid part is, oh, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because I don't like the Democratic Party, which makes no sense because the Democratic Party said they'd rather have Trump in office for the next 4 years. So if you really are voting against the Democratic Party, wouldn't you be voting for Bernie Sanders? But like I said, niggas is hypocritical, niggas is stupid, niggas is inept when it comes to this political shit. So if you're that stupid about it, why get involved in it?
Because they gotta look smart.
Just stay out of it.
They gotta look savvy.
Like I respect the apolitical. I respect the person that doesn't want to be involved in anything. The person who's a nihilist. I respect them because I can understand a nihilist stance. What I don't understand is people who have 1 foot on dry land and 1 foot in the water when it comes to empowerment.
Right.
Black power, vote for Biden. What? What? Really? Oh wait, let me see if Darius. Oh, there he is, Darius. What up, Darius?
What's up, y'all? Coming to you live from Johannesburg. So, really excited.
Nice. What's up, man? I'm gonna give you the mic. I done said enough.
There's just, where do I begin? Where do I begin? I mean,
Listen,
first
all
of
right,
all,
let's start at this. Let's start at this point. Jim Clyburn.
He's the run of the mill. He's the classic Black Democratic establishment person. I mean, look at the Congressional Black Caucus. All of them endorsed Joe Biden. It's not like it was half Bernie, half. They all were for Joe Biden. They are the epitome of the establishment. And so when Jim Clyburn endorsed Joe Biden, it was just the icing on the cake. I mean, we knew Joe Biden was going to win in South Carolina, but not that big. But when he came in and endorsed Joe Biden, it was just off the rails at that point.
Yep.
We may have an interest of it. Like, we in the Black community have to understand what is called political maturity. And like, I'm listening to everything that you're saying, and it's just like, wow. Like, I've been saying that same thing for a million times. You have these people who claim they are Black power, we're for Black people, Black nationalism. Oh my God, the Black Wall Street. And I'm just like, dude, we're in a white country. Let's be honest. America is 76% white. We're in a white country. You ain't going to win without white voters. I'm sorry. Like, you're not going to win without white voters. This idea that you're going to have this Black agenda, and I understand that concern, but we're in a white country. Okay, look at what happened in Alabama. We can look at Alabama case in point. Doug Jones got 98% of Black women and 92% of Black men and barely won. And that's because he has enough white voters to put him over the top. So this, I just want to know how Black power militants think. I just need to know how. I just need to know.
When you figure it out, you can let me know. Yo, I want to make a point on what you just said before you go on. I believe that they do understand exactly what you're saying, because let's look at it from the other perspective. When we talking about a Black agenda, a real Black agenda, when we talk about Black people trying to repair their own nation, what does the militant integrationist and the Black Power Americans say? Oh, well, Obama is not the president of Black people. He's the president of everybody. So they know what you're talking about. They know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my. And it's just so frustrating because people like these Black power and militant integrationists think that you're gonna have this Afrocentric America where white people are just gonna adopt your Afrocentric ways. Like, do you know where you live in? Like, really, like, I just need to ask, like, these Black power militant integrationists, like, do y'all know where y'all live in? Like, and then when you tell us, oh, we're wrong for going to Africa and saying, oh, you're a coward for running away from America. Oh, you guys want your own nation and all this stuff. My response is, hold up, I need to ask all three of y'all this question, all three of y'all on this panel. Do you hear these same militant integrationists say that about the Chinese, about the Lebanese, about the Latinos, the Japanese, the Koreans? When they come over here or they come into Africa, they're like, oh my God, they coming in and they taking over. That's because they're thinking strategically. If I'm struggling here, why would I struggle in the same country when I could just go somewhere else and be better off?
Yep.
Like, what?
Yep. Like I said, they're chock full of contradictions, and I'm here to point out the contradictions. That's what my whole channel is based on. It's pointing out the contradictions of the militant integrationists and the Black Power American. My channel is not about white people. If you go through my videos and you see there's like maybe of all the videos, I've done over 300, close to 400 videos. You might see 2 where I'm even addressing white supremacy.
Right.
Because it's like, for me to address white supremacy is for me to go around saying, yo, did y'all know that shrimp was seafood? Like, why am I addressing the obvious?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is because there's nothing standing in our way of obtaining nationhood. Nothing. The only thing standing in our way is bootlicking Negroes. We already know what resistance we're going to get from white folks, and that's just baked into the cake. But what's your excuse, Negro? You're going to raise your black fist up talking about black power, and then on the other hand say vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
No. Remember that NFL player that said Donald Trump was the first black president. I cringed so bad. When I saw that the person that posted the video, I said, "Hi, no." I just, oh my God, like the chicanery and the buffoonery is just off the charts. Like, dude, like, what is your what are I? Oh my God, I'm trying to find words how to conjunct this into a sentence because it just doesn't make sense. Like the amount of tap dancing. Man, I didn't know Popeyes was giving out this many butter biscuits and spicy chicken sandwiches. I did not know the way, the amount of Negroes that I see selling out. Man, it seems like Popeyes is putting that on a discount, a 2-for-1, buy one get one free.
Yo, Dominique, send me an email, holipsism@gmail.com. Anybody that wants to jump in, just send me an email and I'll send you the link. But yeah, go on, Darius.
Yeah, it's just the amount that I see is just ridiculous, and I've seen that even in my own, in my where I'm at. When I was at my HBCU before I went studying abroad, is there are many people like that. Why do you want to go here? Why can't we just use our financial literacy here to build here? And my response has always been, and it's starting to get to some of them. Look at the environment you are in. You have to look at the environment that you are in. If the environment that you are in is hostile, you don't keep trying to develop in a place that's hostile. It's like, think of it as a hurricane. A hurricane needs warm water, little to no wind shear, and no dry air for it to develop. How am I going to develop into a powerhouse if I got wind shear in my way, cold water all around me? Like, it's bound to fail. So you're trying to build this powerhouse machine in a place where there's no ingredients for you to develop to begin with. So when we say nationhood, yes, everybody else thinks of them as nationhood. What just boggles my mind is you have so many people, reparations, and I understand their point. But when they bring up the Japanese Americans, or they bring up the Jewish Americans, or they bring up, Native Americans are classified as nations. Nation, Catawba Nation, Yamasee Nation, Japanese Americans, Japan, Jewish Americans, Israel. And y'all talking about this, but you ain't got no nation? Because they got their reparations because they were identified as nations.
Mm-hmm.
Japan got its reparations because of the trade war that happened between America and Japan in the 1980s. Jewish Americans got most of the reparations through Israel. That's why you see Israelis driving Mercedes or German cars, or a lot of the money that was infused into Israel's economy came from Germany. Cherokees right now, they give it to the nation. Why? Because nations are representatives of their people. Hey, if you're going to tell me, well, I'm an American, I'm just, okay, then don't complain. So don't complain when they're doing wrong to you, because you identify yourself as an American. You apparently don't see the contradiction within that. So then don't complain when they say, well, most Americans don't agree with that. They don't.
Yep. And the crazy, you know what the crazy part about it is? They are truly Americans because they vote against their own self-interest. So in that case, they are like the epitome of Americans.
Mm.
So why get involved in all this black stuff? That's what I want to know. Why? What is all this pseudo-cultural pretentious bullshit? If that's what you about, let me see who else is here. You still there, Darius?
Oh yes, I'm still here. I'm just letting other people speak. I just want to let other people speak.
So Mac, I want to hear you go in on Jim Clyburn, man. I know you want to.
Yeah, just let it rip. We all know. Just let it rip, bro.
Oh, he's a coon. He's super coon. He's looking for the pack, so he can set himself up with some money or whatever. But he just like you had said earlier, if it were me in that position, I'm always looking. We need to have this discussion on what you're going to do for me and mine, what you're going to do for my community. These people don't care about our community. They care more about the dollars they're going to get, being a figurehead, along with Biden, who we know Biden doesn't care about us. His political track record before he became VP says that, and most Black people don't look up his political track record. Clyburn's a super coon.
I sent an
I mean, the
email.
dude.
I'm sorry. I sent an email to Dominique and I sent an email to Ronan. So check your emails. I'll bring you in when you get in the queue. Go on, Darius.
The dude, Jim Clyburn, put his poverty 10, 20, 30 as reparations for Black people. This dude clearly does not have the interest of Black people.
Right.
But because we're politically immature, we focus on symbolism and surface level stuff rather than looking at the deep issues. And it's the same thing with these Black Power militant integrationists that talk about, uplifting the Black man, but you sound like a white man with your patriarchal, homophobic, and transphobic views. So, like, you telling me, oh, we need to do this, but you got the same politics as a white person just cloaked in brown skin. How are you any different? Like, your political immaturity is showing itself. It's showing and it's obvious. And so when I'm just looking at this whole thing, especially overseas, I'm just looking at this thing like, yeah, see, this is why I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm here in South Africa, because it's like the amount of chicanery that I'm seeing is just off the charts.
Are
And
you living there now?
Oh, well, I'm here temporarily. I'm here for like a couple more months.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. How do you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. It's just, this is how we should be living, where I'm able to go anywhere in society and not fear like I'm going to be followed in the store, or fear that the police are going to come after and get me, or my Blackness being seen as a negative.
Yo,
I'm
Darius,
able to
man.
go and
Darius. I've had that
yes.
same feeling. When I went to Rwanda, it was the same feeling, man. I totally understand how you feeling, because I was feeling that there. There was that pressure that you feel when you hear was gone. Just gone. And I can't even describe it. All I can tell people is get out of this country and go to an African country. I would personally prefer to go, because I can speak for Rwanda. I can't speak for South Africa, but either one of them. Just get out of there and go. Know what it's like to be around where your people are actually running things. You can see
where you're
them.
the majority.
Right.
It's like, and it's no longer like, I remember when my dad, because my dad came with me, and my dad told me, like, when I first came, he's like, son, they're gonna know instantly that we're American. And my response is, they're not gonna know you American until you start speaking and your actions start showing. You gonna be like the average African person, just walking the streets, just doing your thing until you start speaking. And then people are like, oh, you have an accent, where are you from? Like, just that feeling is just great, because it's like I'm like everybody else. Like, I don't stand out. Like, I'm walking in. It's like, I tell some of my friends, imagine going to HBCU, but that's everywhere you go. Like, it's everywhere you go. There's no like particular city. It's everywhere you go. It's like an HBCU. Like, that's the feeling that you get. And I don't understand why most Black people don't want to feel this way. Like, I don't understand why a majority of Black people will allow themselves to be put under so much stress and so much anxiety and suffering from hypertension and blood pressure, high blood pressure, just because they feel like it's comfortable. Like, well, I'm comfortable here. Yeah, but you can always find something better. I used to tell people when I was younger, I didn't want to go to Africa. And then now I'm here, and my dad went and he enjoyed it, and my brother wants to go. So, like, people got to be willing to think what is possible and think outside their box, and not so much, oh, well, this is what I know. This is what people have told me about Africa. People have told me a lot of stuff about Africa. Oh, what Africa is violent. It's just as violent in New York. It's just as violent in in Chicago, in New Orleans, in Detroit, but y'all don't say nothing about that. But when it comes to somebody else, all of a sudden you want to start bringing that stuff up. Just go explore. Go see it for yourself, and trust me, you will enjoy it.
Hello.
I'm still here. I'm just waiting for somebody else to speak. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can speak from, me and my cousin when we went to Rwanda, we were depressed when we got back to New York.
Oh, I'm probably gonna feel the same.
I mean, I wish I could have stayed out there, to be honest with you. I wish I could have just stayed.
I wish I would have went.
You still got a shot.
No,
We're
I
supposed to
know.
be going back in August, so
Yeah.
that's the plan. Where's Dominique and Ronan? Because I sent him the email. Really? He said he didn't get it. That's weird. Dominique and Ronan, I'm gonna put the link in the BAIO chat on Facebook. So if you can't access it through the email, access it through that. I'm posting it in the chat right now.
Hey, Holla, I'm gonna have to go because I got some things to do.
I got you.
All right, bro. Great show, and peace to you, Darius.
Ah, there's Ronan.
Peace, bro.
All right.
Hello?
What's up, Ronan?
Hey,
Yo,
what's up, Darius? What's up, Matt? What's up, Holla?
what's up, man? Mac
Chilling.
is bouncing.
Oh, yes?
You still there, Mac?
I'm still here. What's up,
Oh.
Ron? I'm gonna stay on.
What's up,
I can
Matt?
stay on for a few more minutes.
Okay. Yo, Ronan's been killing it, man, on Facebook.
Yeah,
Like he went into a rant on Facebook. I was like, whoa.
and they staying away from his post.
Oh, they're not gonna touch that.
Scared, yo.
They're not gonna touch
Scared.
that.
Little church mouse. Scared as fuck, yo.
So, Ronan, what's your thoughts on Jim Clyburn?
Well, he's a white supremacist in training. That's what they are. I'm not calling that, but let's be real. If you got these cats who sit up here on TV, neoliberals, they're black folks, cheerleading for them, Urban View, Joe Madison. If you go on their shows and say that, you know what, they're like, all right, Holla, all right, we got Mr. Holism on here, give us your view. Well, all this is just a song and dance. I'm about land, infrastructure, nationhood. They come right to a commercial.
Yep.
Right to a commercial.
Technical difficulties.
Because if you're not on board with their narrative, and they're I've been thinking about this for a while. The biggest proponent of, if you're talking about this white supremacy ideology, black folks they're responsible for it. They continue to perpetuate this madness. That's why we stuck. We're stuck here because they want to perpetuate this nonsense. You don't hear any other ethnic group constantly banging on a white man. We got to get this. We got to get this. Y'all do all this and that. And then you begging for them. Well, we want this. We want that. And oh, wait a minute. You wait a minute. You calling me a devil. Now you want me to give you shelter and food and electricity? No, this is ridiculous. Come on.
Because it's called they vote with their feet.
Scared. And I don't care. I threw that napalm bomb on Facebook, and I don't care. People hit me up behind the scenes. Oh, you shouldn't have wrote that. So fuck you. Stop being scared. Stop being scared. I mean,
No, Ronan. Take it like this. During the American Revolution, majority of Americans were against the revolution. Only a small percentage of them were for the revolution. But that small percentage gave birth to the United States. So by very definition, Americans should not be complaining because it was a small percentage that did it. Majority were opposed to it. So you're opposing us means you're on the wrong side of history because the majority usually follow the minority or follow a small group. Example, the Cuban Revolution. However somebody may feel about it, Fidel Castro led 8 people and literally created a revolution. So this idea that, oh, well, y'all are extreme, y'all are this. I'm just like, so America shouldn't be created. We should be part of Britain, because that's what you're basically saying. You're basically saying that.
Yeah, I'm not in disagreement with any of that. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired. Well, I'm sick and tired of so-called. And these are people who are. I mean, look, like me and Matt, we talked about this, man. We talked on the phone, and the talented tenth. They were supposed to lead Negroes into this new age, 21st century, and they failed. They're nothing but self-serving individualist frauds. And if I met a dude who was an outright bigot and told me, he's like, you know what, I don't like you because you're black. I'm like, I can respect that. Don't get within arm's distance on me because I might take your head off. But I can respect you for that. If these cats want to be like that, then they should just up front and say it. Just say, you know what? Glorify them. You love them more than you love yourself. You can twist yourself into become something that you're not. Sacrifice your own sanity and the safety of your children to perpetuate this insanity. And then if you got people say, you know what, we should have our own hell no. And then they think having a nation state away from here is not a good idea. That's insanity. And my mind can't grasp it. Now I know my mind has been, I had 9 concussions. Maybe I'm not thinking accurately or something, but this is ridiculous. Because for me being here in the BI, it just made sense from the first time I heard Holla on an old blog talk broadcast. It makes to me. What the hell's calling me? But
must be my cousin. It must be Larry. Larry's calling you. Oh man. But yeah, man, it's like I felt everything that you said on Facebook, dude. Like I was like, man, I'm so happy I'm around y'all brothers because y'all give me some sanity. Because if I have to go out here and be around these Negroes 24/7, I would be in a fucking insane asylum.
That's me. Listen, hold up. That's the reason why when I made my decision to study abroad, I'm like, I'm going to study abroad somewhere in Africa because I'm bitter in the U.S. And if I don't find somewhere in Africa where I can go to, I'm going to like lose my sanity. I was like, I can't deal with it no more. I'm walking around every day bitter, just angry and upset. And it's just like, I can't deal with this no more. I need to go somewhere where I know I'm going to feel comfortable, and I know my blackness is not going to be a problem.
And you know what's funny? What's really ironic, and I'm gonna speak to like my experience in Rwanda. Rwanda is basically, if you had to label what that type of nation is, it's like a benevolent dictatorship. But isn't it ironic that I never felt more comfortable in that place than I do here in the land of democracy called the United States?
Yeah, because we're the minority. Like I keep telling people this all the time. When you're the minority, you can't demand like, oh, they need to give us this, they need to give us that. You're the minority. You're 13% of the population, 15 at most. You're not the majority. It's not here where you're 76% of the population, or I mean 79% in South Africa. If you technically include colors, that's 90%. You're talking about 15%. What are you going to do? You can exert some influence, But at the end of the day, it's still white voters that decide who becomes president. You're
Right.
not the majority. And that's one of the things that I was reading this article about this black immigrant that came to America. And he was like, black people who come from Africa, they said they have the privilege. So they have a sense of self-worth and a sense of culture and a sense of value because you come from the majority. So they don't look at white supremacy in the way that we do. Yes, I mean, we are much more alert and we are a lot more vigilant, but you can't blame white supremacy for everything because it's like, okay, if all white people were to vanish, let's say all white people were to vanish, all white people were to, this, how are black people going to, how are black Americans going to, how are these black power militant integrationists going to function? Because we can function without it. You could take us to some part of Africa and we'll function just fine. But
Mm-hmm.
y'all, it's like y'all are dependent on white people, and if you don't have them there, it's like y'all can't function. It's like your whole world, your whole existence is centered around them.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Militant integrationists. That's what they are. Militant integrationists. It's like they don't want to have anything of their own, but what they want you to do is to keep it real and not sell out to some vague abstraction of blackness.
I know,
And
and
to
they're
the
the
person in
ultimate
the chat, and to
sellout.
the person into the chat, and to the person into the chat, yeah, like this America is technically an oligarchy. It's not a democracy. It's an oligarchy.
Right.
Okay, we may vote, but it's an oligarchy, also known as a plutocracy, where the rich control the government, control the economic system. We are technically a dictatorship, just a group of people decide who gets to pull the strings and who don't. So this idea that America is land of the free, no, it ain't. We're the only country that has an electoral college system. No other country does that. We're the only country that allows unlimited finances and money. No other country does that. No, I'm in South Africa, and there are South Africans who look at me crazy when I say Americans don't have a universal healthcare system. In South Africa, they have a universal healthcare system. They have marijuana legalized across the entire country. They abolished the death penalty. Same-sex marriage is legal here.
You know why?
Oh, again, about the all this stuff is legal here, but you don't see black South Africans like, oh, they're destroying the black family the way that black power militants immigrants say. They'll be like, oh, the LGBT, the feminists, they're destroying the black family. Boy, I'm in South Africa. They got all this stuff, and they have a higher fertility rate than black folks in America. So what's your point? Like what is it? Can somebody explain that to me in this section? Can somebody explain it to me? Mm. Can somebody please? I just need an explanation.
There is no explanation. Nothing that nobody wants to hear. It's like it's the same thing. It's like I feel like a broken record sometimes, man. I really do. It's like this is not complicated shit. This is really not complicated shit. Like people make it complicated because they want to avoid the solution. And everything that, like, if you look at the black talking heads and the black mainstream media and all this stuff, it's like their whole existence is geared toward avoiding nationhood,
I agree.
avoiding the solution. Like I said, and I use this as an example before. I don't know if Mac is still on. You still on there, Mac?
I'm here.
Remember the open line that used to come on Sundays?
Yep. Love that show.
The open line used to talk about black issues every Sunday, and they would have a open call, like where you can call in and ask a question. And they also had a RSS feed, so I used to download every episode of the open line. I called in and I actually got through,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about education, and I said, how about the concept of having a black school? And I threw that out there, and they kind of touched on it, and then they moved on. And do you know, of all the open line episodes that I was able to download, that one wasn't available?
Uh,
Right.
I'm talking about hundreds of shows. That particular one wasn't available because I broached the subject of us having our own black school.
Right. Well, you got to remember they don't own that radio station, and this radio station said, "Oh, whoa, 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 we can't let that out publicly."
So in other words, you know what they are? They're a chick that's in porno that don't want to do anal.
Red alert, red alert, red alert. YouTube like, now you don't say that. YouTube gonna be like, now you don't say that. That's gonna be demonetized. YouTube is like apocalypse right now.
That's true.
Oh boy.
You can give up everything else, but nah, can't.
Nah, that's where I draw the line.
No. That reminds no. Here's what these Black Power militants are. Remember the Boondocks? Remember Chris Style? He America's the pimp named Slickback, and we Chris Style, and he like
A pimp named Slickback.
the Boon. He's like, yeah, it's a pimp named Slickback. The American government on their phone like, bitch, where you at? That's
Because one thing about the militant integration is they like I said, you are just like that chick in the porn industry. You may think you're never going to do anal, but you in the porn industry. So eventually,
Sooner or later.
yeah, sooner or later, you're going to have to give up that ass.
Yo, that's like Charlemagne the God, who I can't stand that Negro. When Trump was running, I was roasting him for backing Hillary Clinton. So he said on Twitter that I asked her all the questions I wanted to ask. I was like, no, you didn't, because you got a program director, fool. And he didn't block me, but he removed my tweet. Or he blocked that tweet. Well, I said, you got a program director, stupid. You were told what to ask her and what to stay away from.
Not even that. Now, he should be upset by that.
Right.
See, you know, one of the things, like one of my friends, he's from one of my high school friends. He hit me up. He saw what I wrote on Facebook, and he was like, "Oh, you just went all in." I'm like, "Look, man, it is what it is." And then he was like, "Well, how'd you get here?" and stuff like that. I'm like, "How'd I get here?" I was like, "I've been here. I've been like this since I was in my 20s, man." I'm like,
right.
And then they give, well, you know, this. I'm like, don't give me, well, you know this, well, you know that. Are you in or you out? It's that simple, man. I'm like, I was like, and then he called, then he was like, yo, I'm gonna bring this other brother in. So we all talking, and I'm like, and they're talking to me. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I'm like, do you understand? I mean, do you truly understand? Man, we were talking about this the other day, man. I was like, look, I don't consider myself to be like a quote unquote good person. I was like, but I understand. I'm not saying I admire it. I understand how white folks think.
Right.
You know, they play to win.
Yep. It's like you said, Ronan.
They're not slap boxing.
Right. It's the fourth quarter, and we stuck at 4th and 15 with 2 minutes left, and we one of those teams. We the San Diego Chargers, so we ain't going.
You're not. We the Detroit Lions.
Oh man. But I tell you, man, it's like just sometimes I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, somebody listening to it through their computer? 'Cause I'm hearing a feedback.
Me.
Where's that coming from?
I got my computer on as well.
Yeah, turn the volume off on your computer.
I did. Let me see. Oh, you're right.
Hello?
All right. Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. Oh, I think Darius got knocked off. What happened to Dominique?
He
never got on. I put it in the chat room. I guess he can't access his link. Yeah, he said he can't get on. But yeah, what triggered me was Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg triggered me, son.
Oh,
She triggered me because it was like one of the things that I don't like is intentionally when it's obvious that you intentionally misleading people and then trying to act like you don't know what the fuck you doing. Like because it makes it seem like you think I'm stupid.
word.
And she gets on there talking about, and somebody had approached her about her contradiction with Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama about Cuba. And she said, and they said, well, Bernie Sanders didn't say that he loved Castro. He just said that what Castro did in terms of lowering the literacy rate was a good thing. And she said, yeah, but the American people don't understand nuance. And I'm like, bitch, don't you understand it? So if you understand it, why don't you explain it to them instead of pandering to them and pretending that you outrage over something that you obviously know wasn't meant? So that means you are intentionally misinforming people.
Yeah.
That's why I can't watch these. I cannot watch the news. I can't watch these TV shit because it drives me fucking crazy to see people just blatantly lying.
I'm with you. I can't stand it.
How many debates have we had, Ronan? How many debates have we had where you have the same goddamn question? Oh, Medicare for all is supposed to cost like $50 trillion. Da 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 da. How many debates have that question been answered? Yet every new debate, it's almost like nobody or the other answers didn't matter. Let's ask this again. How much is the current medical system? 60 trillion. I'm not a math scientist, but it seems to me that 50 trillion is less than 60.
Word. It's like you said before. I mean, they sit here and they're engaged in conflicts all over the. You just look at the money that there's a report that the Washington Post about the Pentagon about the budget and all this. It was trillions. This is going back to like even like late 90s to now. And then you're over there, and Max said earlier that war is business, and it is. And they're using all these nations, quote unquote, because they use this term brown, as testing grounds for all these weapons, so they can sell them to different people all over the world. And then you're sitting talking, well, we can't have health care. Why not? Why not? Why can't we? Well, we can't have free education. Why not? I mean, why?
Everybody else does it.
Because America cares. Because America is ran by, like I said, is ran by the plutocracy, and it only cares about the ruling elite. Like, these weapons. Like, look at China and Russia. America's trying to go up to Russia's border with NATO. And my response is, and we as Black people need to be strong out against that, because I don't see Russia as an enemy or China as an enemy. They've done a lot for Black people if you look at it through history. But anyways. So how would America respond if Russia and China said, we're going to put troops in the Caribbean? What if they said, we're going to put our rockets, our missiles, our IBMs in the Caribbean? The U.S. government would be upset. But now, all of a sudden, when we put it by Russia's border and in the South China Sea, it's not a problem, and nobody criticizes that. Now, people say, well, Russia and China, they're authoritarian governments. America, they're police states. Like America ain't a police state.
What's Saudi Arabia?
Bahrain.
Saudi Arabia is ISIS just in a state form. ISIS is run by Saudi Arabia. It has Saudi Arabia's ideology. But since Saudi Arabia makes oil and the U.S. can use them for something, that goes over their heads. But Iran, since Iran won't give their oil, they're the enemy, even though Iran has done a lot for people since the Iranian Revolution. And it's like we as Americans have so much amnesia, just like these Black Power militant Negroes, when we talk about issues that are pertaining today. People love talking about, Bernie was wrong when he brought up Cuba. Ain't nobody want to talk about Cuba prior to Castro with Fulgencio Batista and how they were massacring Afro-Cubans. Ain't nobody want to talk about Iran when the Shah was in office and he was terrorizing people and people were disappearing. Ain't nobody want to talk about how the U.S. government aided those people in China when they lost to the Communist Party in 1949. fled to Taiwan, and now have had the government ever since then. People don't want to talk about that. When you go into the history and you actually criticize people and tell them up front, they got a problem with it because people suffer from cognitive dissonance. Listen, if I'm wrong or something, I'm wrong. It's not hard. I'm wrong, and I admit that. But when I give you something that is factually true, and you instead want to warp it and twist it to fit your worldview, it's deeply problematic. It's like, because I do civil engineering and I also minor in physics. Okay, me saying that what I'm telling you is fake news is like me saying right now to you, Polo, you're on the second floor of a hotel or you're on the second floor of your house. I want you to go on that window and I want you to walk out on that air. Facts is gonna tell you gravity is gonna pull you down and you're gonna get killed. No, man, gravity ain't real. Okay, then why don't you walk out that second? Why don't you do it? You wouldn't do it because you know gravity would pull you down. It's the same thing here. So I don't understand why we're having these conversations over and over when we are specifically telling you this is how it is, this is how it works, and that's it. There's nothing else to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what part of it is, Darius, is that you brought all that up, and all that stuff can be, you can look it up and read about it. And that's just it. Most Americans are fun. I don't care. Most Americans are fundamentally stupid because I know it, you know it, we all know it. Because like I said, I've had 9 concussions, 9 of them, and I know exactly what they did in Iran when they got rid of Mossadegh and put the Shah in power. So, but cats don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. It's like, you know your team. I can get this. You look at the Knicks. You know exactly how dysfunctional they are, but yet you continue to buy their merchandise. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have right here in America. You don't matter what you tell these people. Oh no. You're wrong. That because you said that with the borders. That's what the Cuban Missile Crisis was about. The bad pitch, because the Russians were going to put their missiles in Cuba. And what the United States do? They was ready to go to World War III over that. But they had no problems. No one has a problem with what they're doing, what NATO's doing. Not a problem. No, have no problems with that. No one has a problem with these politicians who they love. They love Biden, but you don't care about their foreign policy. The fact that this country can go anywhere in the globe, start a conflict, take control of a country, get involved in another country's political process, create a coup, and if that country has a resource, take it and try to monetize it for themselves. No one has a problem with any of that shit.
You know what people have a problem. People have this view: if it doesn't affect them or it doesn't directly affect them, they don't care, and that is such a fundamentally suicidal way of thinking. Like for me, when Americans talk about, Iran do this and we're just gonna go, it's gonna be an easy mop the floor victory. And my response is, okay, what if Iran said, we're gonna put rockets in the Caribbean and we're gonna shoot these missiles in South Carolina or Georgia? Then all of a sudden people are like, well, they don't need to be, why are they putting their missiles in the Caribbean? Why can't they respect our borders and respect our area? You're right near our border. So you don't want me to put these missiles in Cuba, but you ain't had no problem putting the missiles in Turkey. You didn't have no problem putting them in the Ukraine. You ain't had no problem. Now that it's at your doorstep and now it could possibly affect you, now it ain't cute. Now it ain't funny. So when China comes and gives you your wake-up call, then it's not going to be pretty. And now you're going to be like, what do we get ourselves in? And we've been screaming at you, we told you so. I don't understand how you just think that just because it doesn't directly affect you, that it can't come and bite you.
Yeah, that's what
because we're a bunch of individuals. It's what I've always said. It's like the reparations expose that. Like reparations, think about like if we approach reparations on a national level or from a black nationalist standpoint, how powerful that would be. But
it's actually more logical.
Right. But when you approach it on an individual, it's like, that's why I made that point. It's like the dude on the, I forget, I think it was on Dyna's live stream where he said, I want my check. And I said, well, why don't you go get a lawyer and sue the United States government? You say, what are you talking about? This affect all of us. I said, but you didn't say we need our check. You said you want yours. So if you're only thinking about yourself, how are you going to piggyback off of all the shit that's happened to us for the past 500 years? Just so you can
So
get a
then
check
And
for
then
yourself.
the thing that what they don't understand is that what they don't understand is, like I said, demographics too. Like, it's a $10 trillion project. Okay, how long is this going to be? And then number two, do you think other ethnic groups are just going to do that? Like what they say, and we need white Americans to be good allies and actually fund them. If you know white America is not going to do that, why do you keep trying to?
Hmm.
At some
And they
point,
never
I have
have.
no sympathy for whatever happens. Like, I don't have sympathy. Like, especially here, like I tell people, like, if you ain't trying to go back to Africa, trying to form a nation, I have no sympathy for what happens to you. I'm at the point where I don't care. Like, I just am over it. Because when you are sick and tired, and you're tired of being sick and tired, you say, listen, enough is enough. It's time for us to go our own separate ways. It's just ironic to me when people bring up Maya Angelou, when people bring up Malcolm X, when people bring up Marcus Garvey, when people bring up Henry Minnie Turner, all these people for, black pride, but they all wanted to leave the country. Maya Angelou was supposed to be in Liberia. The only reason why she didn't go in Liberia is because her son got in an accident. If her son did get in an accident, she would have been in Liberia right now with a job. So this whole idea that many Black Americans didn't want to go back to Africa is false. It's not true. You can read this. Like I tell you, you can literally read this. Hey, nobody has to spoon feed this to me. I'm right here in South Africa, and I know a lot about South African politics. So much so that there are some people like, man, you know a lot that's going on here. Yeah, because nobody has to tell me. It's your job to know what's going on in your environment and what's going on in your country and around the world. It's nobody's job to tell me that. It's nobody's job to tell me what's going on in Syria, what's going on in the Philippines, what's going on in West Papua. Nobody has to tell me this. But for so many percent of the population, you have to literally spoon feed them and tell them this is what's going on. This is why you should do this. It's like Bernie Sanders calling him a socialist, and people feel, oh my God, he's trying to make us like Venezuela and Cuba. Um, do you not know there are different schools of socialism and variants of socialism? Just like there's something called state capitalism, there's something called laissez-faire capitalism, there's something called authoritarian socialism, there's something called democratic market and libertarian socialism. But that shows me you don't know anything or you're intentionally doing that.
Of course. You saw when Bloomberg did it on the debate.
Yeah.
When he used the communist, like communism. I mean, how old is Bloomberg? Doesn't he have a staff
The
member
dude is
that
at
can do?
least in his 70s.
Doesn't he have a
He's at
staff
least in his
member
70s.
that can do a Google search on the difference between communism and socialism?
Yes.
Oh,
Pete
boy.
Buttigieg. Remember Pete Buttigieg, right? Pete Buttigieg wrote in his high school essay
Yes.
that socialism gets mixed with communism. He knows.
Right.
He knows people like to conflate it, but they know there's a difference between socialism and communism. But people want to intentionally play dumb to score brownie points. We all know what it is. It's like the caravan. Remember during the 2018 midterm elections, people were constantly talking about, the caravan, the caravan, the caravan. Then after the 2018 midterms, you ain't heard about the caravan ever since.
Right.
What caravan?
Gone. But I'm just glad people can see the bullshit.
Yeah.
Even if it's just y'all two. If y'all can see the bullshit along with me, I'm happy. Because at least I know I'm not fucking crazy.
Mm-mm. There's actually a lot more. There's a lot more, I would say, younger Black people who are on board and realize that it's time, like it may be time for us to start looking out and actually start investing in the continent. I talked to some of my friends and they've been supportive of it too. We're trying to get something going this year. So yeah, there's a lot of young Black people who understand that I'm not going to spend my whole life here trying to exert so much energy on a society that has no love or will towards me. And I think the more that we start advocating and the more that we have a plan and the more that we're actually yielding results, it's going to bear fruition because we have stuff to show and they don't. Because we can say, here's our nation state. Here's what we built. Can you tell me what you've done? Because see, I'm talking. Because like I said, I'm a huge Liberian fan and a huge South African fan. But I'm getting stuff taught. I'm making moves dealing with these two countries. What are you doing in America except talking about how we're oppressed and then not giving us no outline? So you know that we're being oppressed, but what is your plan for us to get out of oppression?
Overcome them with love. That's their plan.
And it's funny how that only applies to white people, though. It's like you notice that we're gonna overcome them with love, but then we'll beat the shit out of our own.
Yep.
That's why I know that principle is bullshit, because you don't apply it to your own people, but you're gonna apply it to somebody outside of yourself, and then pretend like it's a real thing. Like these niggas are all Brock Lesnar with their own people, and then you Gandhi with somebody else.
Word.
I never understood that.
Your philosophy is bullshit. That's what it is. It's a philosophy of cowardice.
You have self-hatred. You have self-hatred, and like you said, you're cowardice, because I'm not going to treat somebody of my own worse than somebody who's from a different group. It's just like with these Black Power militant people who talk about, the black man is this and it's because black women do this and black, people do this and y'all need to do this. It's just like, you wonder why the Black Power movement declined. It was the exact same mindset that you had that the Black Power movement went down. You claimed all this stuff, but you treated your own like garbage, and then you want us to come and cape for you. So you want black women and the black community to come and cape for you, but you not willing to fight for us. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to cape for you, these Black Power militants, when in reality, they'll make the most anti-black woman, anti-LGBT statements ever, and then complain and ask, well, why are we not supporting this?
Hello.
You said that black women just you said black women need to stay in the house, so then black women shouldn't come and cape for you.
Hello, Mr.
This is how you feel about black women.
Hello, Mr. Exodus. Hello. Teach, as they say in the church. Got all these, like, they have the most venom and hatred against their own. And when it comes to this white man or it comes to anybody else,
true.
They just do not have the fucking
sit up here
cojones.
Yep. I just want to say the Black Cyber Network. It's funny how you have a lot of people who claim about capitalism, but majority of the so-called Black Power people that you worship are socialists. Kwame Nkrumah was a socialist. Julius Nyerere was a socialist. MLK was a socialist. Malcolm X was a socialist. Fred Hampton was a socialist. Angela Davis, like all these people were socialists. None of these people were capitalists.
And we don't even have to go back that far, Darius. What countries have been kicking everybody's ass for the past 20 years in terms of the top 3, top 5 countries in the world? All social democracies.
Yeah.
All of them. So spare me the socialist boogeyman bullshit. And you in a country that has socialism in it.
Yeah. Like I tell people this, and I think what I'm doing, especially more, and say, oh, well, socialism is danger here to take our money. And my response is, okay, let me ask you this question. So, do you like The Weeknd?
Right.
It was socialists who fought for The Weeknd.
Right.
Most people didn't have a weekend. You worked 6 days a week. Sunday was off for religious reasons, but that was it. You worked every day for the rest of your life, all day, every day. It was socialists who said, we need a weekend. We don't need to be working more than 40 hours a week. We need working conditions. It was socialists who said that children should be in school and not be out in factories. Because capitalism's ideal form is slavery. It's slavery. Capitalism's idealistic tendency is slavery.
Yep. How you think it built up this country?
Profits.
Slavery. Because like corporations don't want to pay you money. What? Like, think about it. If I think I'm a corporation, I ain't gotta pay you. I pay you little to no money, and I'm making these profits, and I ain't gotta give you no benefits. That'd be heaven for a capitalist business owner. That's why they want deregulation. That's why they want labor laws gutted. because that's how you make the most money.
Right. You get people to work
No
for
business
pennies.
owner. Yeah, I'm about to say that's why they ship their jobs out to China and all these other countries. You have no labor laws, so people can just do what they want to do with them, and then they can reap the benefits.
Yeah, your latest Nike shoe, they want to make it seem like it's some scientifically engineered shit. It's by Mei Ling. Mei Ling made that shoe for you.
Little children made those shoes.
Yeah.
Little children picked out them cocoa beans in Africa, who dug themselves in a mining, who got killed. And you got the audacity to come and tell me about some capitalism. You got the audacity to come tell me that communism killed 100 million people when the vast majority of them were killed in China and the Soviet Union. So that's a domestic policy. That's not a communism. That's a domestic policy. That was just Mao didn't plan right. That's not, communism is a failure. But when you look at capitalism, these Captain American Negroes who want to talk about building Black Wall Street. So you want the black version of that. So you want the black version of exploitation. That's what you want.
And this is another question that I had, because it seems to me like corruption is just baked into the cake here. How come people believe there should be a minimum wage, but people don't believe there should be a maximum wage? If you want to put a limit on what somebody can do as the minimum, then shouldn't there be a maximum?
There should be a maximum wage.
Maximum.
People people will say maximum wage will disincentivize people.
Minimum wage doesn't disincentivize people?
It does. Like it degrades people's value. Like the fact that you have people, and I tell people this over and over and over again. So you think people should make however much money they want. I did statistics, and they do TikTok, right? Do you know how long 1,000,000 seconds, just 1,000 seconds is?
No.
1,000 seconds is the equivalent to about maybe like 16,000 minutes. Like 1,000 seconds is about 16 minutes. 1,000 seconds is 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all know how long 1,000,000 seconds is?
What?
1,000,000 seconds is 11 days. Now let's see how much 1,000,000,000 seconds is. 1,000,000,000 seconds is 31 years. 1,000,000,000,000 seconds? 31,709 years. 1,000,000,000,000 seconds. So there should not be a limit between a millionaire and a billionaire. You telling me that's okay? So people should make how much money conflating a millionaire and a billionaire when there's a huge difference.
And it's unsustainable.
No, there should not be a.
If one person can make $100 billion in a society, that's unsustainable. First of all, like people, I have to make this point all the time. What is actually $1 billion? $1 billion is 1,000 millions. That's 999 million plus one more million. That's what $1 billion is. Why should one person have over that? Well, first of all, why should one person have that? But I'll just give you that. I'll play devil's advocate and just say billion is the cap. Yeah. I don't know anything I don't know if I could spend $1 billion in my lifetime. Like if I was just go out on a drunken...
No, I did statistics. Like I said, I do these calculations because like I'm engineers, so I have to plan, like I do all these math. If you were a billionaire and you had, let's say, Jeff Per.
Oh, you going out? Hello?
I can hear you, Holla.
Yeah, Darius is going out.
In and out.
Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Yeah.
I guess he has to reconnect.
Yeah. You're making good
points. But yeah, like the point...
For your money to completely vanquish.
Oh, yeah, you went completely out, son. You went completely out. Whatever you just said, nobody heard it.
I'll go in and out. Sorry, my Wi-Fi goes in and out.
Just went out.
Yeah, he went out again.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point is about the million. Like, you're talking about 999 million plus one. If I was to give that to any one person, let's say you have, no matter how many vices you have or whatever, how long would it take for you to burn through $1 billion? I
never would. One of the cheapest.
Exactly.
There's no way. I wouldn't even change the way I live.
And the people that cape for these people, the people that cape for them, their philosophy is, well, man, I don't want them to take away my billions when I get it. So you being an advocate, protecting money that you never gonna get.
Yeah, you know how I see it.
Because why? You got it in your head that you're gonna hit the Powerball lottery?
Word. You know what it is though? This is how I see it. When you're looking at people who are caping for billionaires and millionaires, they're along with entertainers and stuff like that, and they fall in that category as being millionaires or whatever, multi-millionaires.
I just switched my thing. I just went to a laptop. I'm just not going to my phone is just going in and out, so I said I'm just going to use my Wi-Fi. I'm just going to use my laptop.
Okay. What were you saying, Ronan?
I was like, if you look at like the olden days, or whatever, you had the gods who walked the earth. The gods left earth because people stopped worshiping the gods. In the modern era, the multi-billionaire, the billionaire, the multi-millionaire, the entertainer, the people who are wealthy, they're the gods. And the rank and file want to be them. They idolize them. They'll cape for them and not even think about look at their own lifestyle. I'm like, wait a minute, you were living in, destitute, you're working all these crazy hours, and yet you're caping for these people who, if they wanted to, all that money that Bloomberg spent, that could, think about that. Think about that bailout that they did. You could have gave every person in this country $5, $10, $15 million and still have money left over to do whatever the hell you want to do. But that doesn't go along with the game plan. You bailed out everyone else, those who are already in positions, who somehow through malfeasance and or whatever they did, blew all this money, or they shipped this jobs overseas and created this whole thing. You gave them money, but the rank and file, nope.
Yeah,
and of course,
it's like I said, man, the comfortable and the uncomfortable both support the status quo.
Yeah.
There's more uncomfortable people than there are comfortable people. So why don't things change? Because the uncomfortable people are fucking morons.
Yep.
And they support the very establishment that puts them in the condition that they're in.
Because people think that someday they're going to become a millionaire. They think they're going to become a billionaire. And the reality of it is that's not the case. Like, not everybody can be a billionaire. Like, do you know how ruthless and how cruel you have to be? They say that 20% of all CEOs are psychopaths or sociopaths.
Yes.
And they make good businessmen. Why?
Yeah. They make the best.
No remorse. They have no remorse. They have no empathy.
Yeah, they make the best. People with no empathy make the best businessmen, which should tell you a lot about capitalism.
And politicians.
Like, look at this guy just burned $700 million on a vanity project. Oh, I feel like running for president. Let me just throw some money at people and let's see how it happens. Oh, well, didn't work out. 700 million. I can think of a lot of things that $700 million could help.
You can build a hospital with that. You can build a hotel with that. You can build like a bunch of things with 700 million.
And have change left over. And this dude threw it away on a vanity project.
But once again, you're worth 60 billion.
Right.
I mean, that's chump change. It was like when Jeff Bezos bought a house, it was like the equivalent of paying $75 if you made $100,000 a year. This is chump change to them. Right. So it's like, we're getting upset, but it's like we in our society, we have no problem with that because we, in our views, feel like we can someday become that. I don't understand because I'm not trying to be that way. And I don't understand people who do. It's like, dude, as long as I'm stable and I'm comfortable and I can live a good life, that's what matters to me. I'm not trying to be a billionaire. I'm just trying to make sure my kids are stable, make sure my community is stable, and that's it. I'm not trying to have so much money because it's like, dude, when is it enough?
And also think of the sociopath you have to be worth 60 billion or 100 billion dollars and to not help people. You are in a tremendous position to help a lot of people because you have more money than you will ever spend in your lifetime or your children or their grandchildren's lifetime. And yet you can't help. You can lay down $700 million like you just went to Atlantic City for the weekend. You got to be a sociopath. Because if you gave anybody on this phone $100 billion, could you imagine how many people we would help with that? Because our personal needs will be taken care of. We don't have to worry about money ever.
You can build a whole country with that.
Yeah. So once you have taken care of all of your personal needs and you don't have to worry about any material shit, what else is there to do except help people? Unless you're a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. Because like I was saying before, how is that wealth like that? When you get into that class wealth, you become a de facto god in the society. And that's what people want. They want to be gods. And money is the easiest way for them to have this god-like ability or feel like they're a god amongst everyone else. And yeah, you got to be that. I mean, even just the thought of it is just crazy, man. I was like, damn. I mean, in my spare time, because people go out there buy food banks, they'll do nonprofits, part of that, they'll be involved, little things like that. These are people who are just doing stuff like, hey, even that. Look at, you got to do like Bezos, who can bend states to his will. Like, well, I want to build 3, 4, 5 factories here. I don't have to pay taxes 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Oh, and yes, I'm paying way beneath the corporate tax rate. And people go right along with that. I don't have a problem with it. But if you got, some dudes like, hey, you dudes, why y'all walking around with your damn hats turned backwards? Really, that's going to destroy society? That's what you're concerned about? Dudes wearing their hats backwards or whatever, or not speaking proper English? But you got dudes basically controlling the fate of the whole damn planet. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people got more wealth than the entire population of the world. But that ain't your problem.
And then you got the people that's supposed to be the watchdogs over this shit are basically the stenographers.
Yeah.
That's another issue and a problem. Because they like this to me shows you how corrupt this fucking American society is. They knocked out Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard and Marianne Williamson out of a few debates because they said they didn't meet the requirements. Bloomberg comes along, gives the DNC $300,000. Well, welcome to the stage. Nobody says a goddamn thing on the news media. Nobody said shit about that. No, you just basically paid them, and $300,000 is nothing. That's what you sold out for. No, and nobody even mentions it. Nobody even mentions it.
It was just like with Bernie Sanders, like some Bernie Sanders circus working for Bloomberg. Bloomberg paid them a lot of money, even though they support Bernie. They getting them checks. I mean, like that's what it is. Like, and it's just to show the amount of insanity and just straight up sociopathy and psychopathy. You have people who will literally destroy this planet just to save a buck. They would rather pollute a river, would rather have the climate go to where the earth is inhospitable rather than cutting a profit. Like, it's like, to them, money is like food. It is like they need it for survival. And money is a human concept. You don't technically need money. Anything can be money. Cows can be money, goods can be money. You don't need paper money. Fiat currency is just something that we just decide to value. It's not really something that you technically need to survive. You can live in a cashless society. Because think about it right now. We're heading towards what's called the fourth industrial revolution with artificial intelligence, super intelligence, virtual AI. When all these jobs get automized and robots are starting to do most of the work, How you gonna make money? How you gonna make a living? Because at that point, labor is useless. You have cryptocurrency. Like, why do we need this idea of literal money? Like, it's just a concept.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, I gotta avoid the TV. I really do.
Oh no, I do too. I'll lose my sanity. I'll lose my sanity.
It really triggers me. Like I get triggered
We'll see.
easily
I
when
really
especially
think
when I
it's
see
about
people on there
with the
just
technology.
lying. You know?
Yeah,
It seems like you just have a handful of people who actually see what the hell's going on, and everything else is just going back. Everyone else is going backwards.
Basically. But yo, I'm glad y'all brothers talked to me today because y'all kind of talked me down. So I appreciate it.
Nah, anytime. I gotta get caught up with this fluid mechanics and this transportation engineering and this mathematics, cause this university is killing me.
Yeah. But yo, I thank you for calling in, Darius. Thank you for calling in, Ronan. I'm gonna get out of here and get me something to eat.
Yeah, I'm about to hit on this. I'm about to hit on this homework. So yeah, it was great talking to y'all.
No doubt. And love you guys in the chat room. I'll holler at y'all people later. Peace.
All right. Peace, everybody.